Alright, so there's the floor to our cabin. Now we're going to duplicate this, rotate it around the x-axis 90 degrees, and move it off to the side, and now we have our wall. And that's way too tall for the cabin that we want, so we're going to grab the topping or the top edge and pull it down to about the size that we want the house to be at. And we're going to duplicate that and slide it to the back for the back wall. Now what I want to do is go into the front wall here. Now we're going to select this face right here and we're going to delete it. And there's our doorway. Alright, so we're going to pull the vertices down just a little bit, at both of them at the same time, so they're equal to each other and it doesn't look lopsided. And so that's going to be the slope on one side, and then over here we're going to do the same thing. Not quite as much though. I want my house to look a little unique. From here we're going to go ahead and start building the frame structure made out of the logs. And what we're going to do there is we're going to create a cylinder. Now we're going to duplicate this, slide it over to this edge here, rotate it around the Z 45 degrees so it looks like a corner piece. I'm going to duplicate it again, bring it over here, rotate it around the Z 270 degrees. Okay, so we have all the vertical pillars. Now we're going to put in the horizontal ones. So we're going to stretch this along the y-axis, duplicate it, bring it over here, this, duplicate it, bring it over here for this one. I intentionally want to keep my sleeping loft kind of a low ceiling, because I want it to represent only a kind of a crawling space where you just kind of go up and crash out for the night. There, now here, for this one, in order to bend the log at the right spots, we're going to have to put in a couple edge loops. Now, because I put those edge loops in, it'll allow me to grab these faces on the edge, pull them down, and it'll bend at that edge loop. Okay, and with that we have the basic structure of our log cabin. We're almost done with the basic outline of our log cabin. I think the last thing I want to do here is highlight the floor, duplicate it, and pull it up so that we have our second floor ceiling and floor. Because we need a way to get upstairs, we need a stairwell. So we're going to put in another edge loop here. I'm going to put in an edge loop on this end, a couple of them, and so we have another face. I'm going to click on that face, I'm going to delete it. Okay, and that's where my stairwell is going to come up into the second loft. So during this last section we're going to fill in the details of our log cabin. We're going to put in the final additions of our walls, and we'll put in a chimney and a stairwell. Okay, so now that we got our first plank in position, we're going to duplicate it. We're going to slide it over so it lines up with the next one, and then we're going to highlight both of them, duplicate them both, slide them over, and this is kind of a tedious part of modeling when you're getting into real fine detail. These are little cheats that help. Okay, now I've got that huge wall panel there. I'm going to duplicate all of them. I'm going to slide them over to here, and they're going to fit inside this wall. And duplicate them, slide them over. Doing the upstairs will be a little bit more time consuming, not necessarily more tricky. So let's just take 3 of them, duplicate them. But as you can see, after a little while, we start to get a entire house built with wooden panels, log supports, and a nice floor. So let's go ahead and skip ahead a little bit here and move on to the next section. Okay, now that we've skipped ahead a little bit, you can see that I've finished off all the walls all the way around the building. I also have windowsills that I put in here, just basic cubes that are shaped around the windows. I put in our stair loft, and last but not least, I even put in our fireplace. Okay, and there's our fireplace that's in there. We will apply textures and colors that you all will see in Kevin England's tutorials, and in the end, this is what we're going to have.